It's you. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Storyteller's Corner. Thank you for joining me. And now we're back to our story Between Duty and Desire, a love story, a romantic scandal in high society, Victorian era. And now this is chapter 23, The Man Who Stood Forward. So let's read on, guys. The news spreads through Whitmore House before breakfast. Not openly, not in words, but a house like Whitmore had their own language. A servant lowering their voice, a door closing a little too carefully. By the time Caroline descended the staircase, she knew everyone was aware of something. Thomas Reed had asked to speak with her uncle, alone, and that alone was enough to unsettle the household. Caroline found her uncle in the morning room. He stood beside the fireplace reading correspondence, though his attention clearly was elsewhere. His aunt sat nearby, quiet and thoughtful. "You know," her uncle said without looking up, "that your maid has already informed you." Caroline stopped. "Yes," a small sigh. "Of course she has." There was no anger in his voice, only exhaustion. "Where is Mr. Reed?" Her uncle unfolded the letter in his hand. "He's waiting." "Then I would like to hear what he has to say." Her uncle looked at her. "Caroline," the warning was gentle, "I will not hide what others decide my future." The words surprised her, even her. But once spoken, they could not be taken back. Her uncle studied her, then slowly nodded. "You have changed." "Yes, I have." The morning room door opened. Thomas entered. For the first time Caroline had known him, she saw him standing not as a servant, not as a man who waited near doors, not as someone who belonged in that background. He stood as himself, calm, proud, but terrified. "Mr. Reed," her uncle said. Thomas bowed. "Sir?" "Sit." Thomas hesitated, then did so. A small action that Caroline noticed, because a year ago he would never have accepted that invitation. Her uncle remained standing. "You asked to speak to me?" "Yes, sir." The room became very still. Thomas looked towards Caroline briefly, then back. "I understand the position I hold in this household." Her uncle said nothing. "I know what society expects. I know what they will say." Caroline watched him carefully. She had never seen him speak about himself before. "But I also know that Lady Caroline has never treated me as less than a man." Her uncle's expression tightened slightly. "She has shown me kindness, respect, and trust." His voice remained steady. "And I would be dishonourable if I allowed her to face the consequences of this alone." The words struck deeply for Caroline. Her uncle looked at him. "You believe you can protect her?" Thomas answered honestly, "No." The answer seemed to surprise everybody. "No," he repeated. "I cannot protect her from every cruel word. I cannot protect her from every person who believes they have the right to judge." And he looked at Caroline. "But I can refuse to abandon her." There was silence in the room. Caroline felt emotions rise unexpectedly, but not because he had promised impossible things, but because he promised the one thing she feared most losing, his presence. Her uncle walked slowly towards the window. For a long moment he said nothing. "Do you understand what you are asking?" Thomas nodded. "Yes." "You could lose your employment." "Yes, I know." "You could lose your reputation." "Yes, I know." "You could lose your place in respectable society." Thomas looked at him. "I never truly had it placed in it." The answer lingered. Her uncle turned. "And you still choose this?" Thomas did not hesitate. "Yes, I do, sir." The simplicity of it was devastating. Before anyone could respond, the door opened. A servant entered. "My lord, Lord Ashford has arrived." The room changed immediately. Lord Ashford, the family's chosen solution, the man sent to manage the crisis. Moments later he entered. a distinguished gentleman in his 50s with a calm expression and the air of someone accustomed to being listened to. Forgive the interruption. His eyes moved around the room, then stopped on Thomas. Ah, a quiet observation. So this is the gentleman causing such concern. Caroline stiffened. Thomas remained still. Her uncle stepped forward. Lord Ashford, a greeting, a warning. Ashford ignored the tension. He looked directly at Caroline. My dear, I hope you understand that my only interest is your welfare. Caroline met his gaze. And if my understanding of my welfare differs from yours. A faint surprise crossed her face. Perhaps he had expected the obedient girl she had once been. Then I fear you do not yet understand the consequences. Thomas shifted slightly, but Caroline raised her hand, stopping him, because this was no longer his battle to fight for her. What consequences? She asked. Ashford studied her. Society is not kind to those who challenge its order. Caroline's voice remained calm. Then perhaps society should reconsider its order. The room went silent. Even Thomas looked at her. Ashford's expression hardened slightly. You are prepared to sacrifice everything? Caroline looked towards Thomas, then back. No. I am prepared to stop pretending that something important to me is worthless. For the first time, Ashford had no immediate answer. And that was the moment everyone in the room understood. Caroline Wimborne was no longer asking permission. She had made a choice. But outside the room, beyond the closed doors, the household continued whispering. And somewhere beyond Whitmore House, London waited. London waited. Because once secret became a choice, it was only a matter of time before it became a scandal. Oh, scandal. So join me, guys, Friday for chapter 24, Whispers in London. So it's gone beyond the drawing room all the way to the streets of London. The scandal has permeated, spread from the drawing room to the streets of London. The scandal. So there we go, guys. Permeate. That's the word I want to permeate. Permeated from the drawing room all the way to the streets of London. Big scandal. So join me for that, guys, tomorrow. Chapter 24, Between Duty and Desire, Whispers in London. But join me tonight, guys, for chapter 7 in the little village of Willowmere. It is chapter 7, The Woman Who Came Home. So here's a woman who came home. So we'll see. So join me for that tonight, guys. And thank you for joining me in Storyteller's Corner for Thursday, the 25th of June. So you get dates as well, guys. You know what day it is. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me and have a blessed day. Bye bye now.